When you go to fill out your forms, when you become an employee of a company, they hand you what is called a W-4. And a W-4, you look at it and you say, what is this about? And the W-4 is what determines how much taxes is taken out of your check based on, are you single, married, have 2 dependents, 4 dependents, no dependents, and they want you to fill out your name, address, social security number, and the pertinent information to determine your tax bracket. There'll be a second page that's a worksheet, and they ask you to fill that out, and then that is what they use when they begin your payroll. So I wanted to talk about that for a minute. The highest tax bracket is single zero. If you're a single person and you have a job with a company that pays you a W-2 and you say, I'm single and I have no dependents, that means no child that lives with you from a marriage or a relationship, no adult parent that lives with you that you're taking care of, they will tax you as though you're carefree and fancy free, and they will take the most tax out of that. Most people take single zero when they are on their W-4, so that they can get the most amount of tax taken out. Then the next year they file their taxes and they get a whole bunch of it back. And they feel like, oh, look I just got $4,000 in taxes back. Single zero will take out the most tax, and single zero, if you're in certain tax brackets, is likely to get you a big refund at the end of the year. Not always, but likely. So what are you saying when you get your $4,000 back of the $10,000 you paid into tax? You're saying you let the government hold on to your money all year long when you could have been living on it. So I usually advise that you take single one, and then if you feel you're going to come in short, do the tax calculator on a website and find out if you need to do single one plus an additional $50 per pay period. That's better than doing single zero. People ask me all the time, well, why do they get to determine how much tax is taken out? Well, they don't really. If you do your homework and figure out your tax calculator and go on and use a tax calculator, and I think I'm going to have to show you what I mean in maybe a follow-up video. You do the tax calculator and you might find out that you don't owe as much tax as you think. So you can go in and say, I'm single zero, but do a flat amount of X, federal and state, if you live in a state where there's state tax. So I'm going to encourage you to be more proactive about your W-4. Before you just put single zero, hand it back in, look at what it says. Ask yourself, do I want to give the government money all year and then get it back in April? Or do I want to take my money and use it every month and maybe pay down expenses with it, pay down credit cards with it, put it away, funnel it to a 401k? Don't just give your tax money away and say, oh, but I'll get a big refund. That's really not a good way to do it, especially as the tax laws could be changing. Secondarily, you're going to fill out an I-9 or something comparable to a form that says you're eligible to work in this country. And that I-9, along with the W-4, will ask you for your date of birth and 2 forms of identification that you're actually eligible to work here, either as a U.S. citizen or someone with a green card or someone with a card that says, yes, you can work in the United States. So working for a company requires some paperwork, a W-4, and that information will then translate to the paycheck you get every week, bi-weekly, semi-monthly, or monthly, and then that W-9, which will prove to your company that you are legally able to work in this country. I will have those forms available for you to see what I'm talking about, and I would love to help you fill it out properly. So remember these 3 things. The W-4, don't just fill it out and say, oh, I'm single, I've got no dependents, here you go. Go online and say paycheck calculator. It's called a paycheck tax calculator, and you can find out precisely what you should be paying. Then there is a the W-4 will be more complete. The W-9 will prove your eligibility to work in this country. If they don't ask for it, that's a little strange. I would like to make sure that on file in your employee file, those documents are there. That's really important. And then afterward, every quarter, taking that paycheck that you get and your year-to-date information and finding out if you're on track to owe money, get money back, and if you need to make an adjustment. You can always go to your HR department or the owner of the company and say, I would like to adjust my deductions on my paycheck. Please understand, those are under your control. They're not under anybody else's control. You are able to do the work in advance in order to get the most out of your paycheck, understand it the best, and understand what the employer is doing. Thank you.